Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed here, and we've returned back to Fatal 12. We're going to proceed into the second night, I believe, of a divine selection, where one more candidate will be eliminated. I started to teach Naomi how to brew coffee, bit by bit, while I continue to engage in the usual banter with Miharu and Miharu. None of this helps to ease the tension in my heart, though. I can feel myself being pressured more and more by the reality that I've become a participant in divine selection. Nighttime. And who would this be? There are people in this world who doesn't deserve to live, and I've never had any issue counting myself amongst them. I spent my life stealing and killing as part of the Mafia in southern Italy. I got to where I am today through countless betrayals. This guy. I was never in the big leagues, but I managed to find success after success as a mafioso. Until, you know, I messed up where I shouldn't and died. Success wasn't imperative in the world I lived in. The key was to avoid failing, because a single failure meant you'll be 6 feet under. And that's exactly what happened to me. It's funny though, turns out Lady Luck's impartial when it comes to whom she gives her blessing. Getting tossed into divine selection means I have the opportunity to live on. Despite my mistake, I've been given a new lease of life on life. I might not deserve to live, but that's irrelevant in the face of my desire to do so. So long as that desire is there, nothing else matters. That's the Federico way of life. I failed only once in my life, and I'm determined to keep it that way. I guess Lady Luck isn't the only one to pay me a visit, though. Her much less unfortunate sister has made sure to stop by too. Who are you? Hey, space candidate, do you copy? This charming individual is Odette Malincon. Much like me, she's a participant in divine selection. Under normal circumstances, we should be aiming to eliminate each other. But we've agreed to help one another out, for the time being. Well, I guess it'd be more accurate to say that she's forced me into a truce. Nothing much, thinking about something. How about you focus on the grub instead? I ain't about to let good Chinese cooking go to waste. Capricorno. We use Capricorno as my code name when we're speaking. It's based on my zodiac sign, Capricorn. In turn, Virgo maybe? In turn, Virgo is how I refer to her. My only issue is that pronouncing French words is kind of tricky for an Italian like myself. Anyway, I'm the one that suggested using code names. I did that mainly because our names are valuable info when it comes to eliminating others in divine selection. Neither of us are supposed to know each other's real name. Knowing her, she's probably used some connections to pull my name out of a lake, but she won't tell me that straight up. Obviously, I know her real name as well, but I haven't told her. Keeping that stuff to ourselves is the reason our current relationship works in the first place. Got to admit, I couldn't be any happier that we're in Beijing. You ain't gonna find better Chinese grub anywhere. They served this stuff to the old emperors of the Queen Dynasty, so even the sauces are perfect. What's more, it's loaded with calories to combat the cold climate here. For a girl who lives on the sea, The perfect blend of taste and calories is just what I need.
特にこの北京ダックっていうのは
So you were a
中
pirate?
国の最大の発明じゃないかと思ってる。油がうまいんだ。
In fact, I'd argue that this Peking duck right here is probably the greatest thing to ever come out of China. Fat's never tasted this good.
フォアグラ用のガチョウといい勝負なくらいの残酷な飼育法だが、こううまいんじゃ仕方ない。まずく生まれ変わるしか道はねえからな。
The way it's made, it's just as horrible as what they do to geese while making forest grease. But it didn't change the fact that it's delicious. Least the ducks can do is hope they ain't as tasty in their next life. She shoves more and more food into her mouth the second she quits yapping. This third plate of Peking duck, by the way. She's had plenty of geyser and steamed beans in between too. Hard to believe someone from France would order food like this, considering how particular they are about their full course meals. Just watching her pig out makes my stomach ache.
つまりだ。世界で一番の料理がフランス料理なのは動かないが、中華料理には2番を与えてやってもいい。
Anyway, what I'm getting at here is that while French food's still the best, I have questions about that, I ain't got no issue letting Chinese food play second fiddle.
待てピエールズ、お前の言葉には苦言を呈したい。2番以下はどこに譲ってもいいが、1番はイタリアンだ。
Now wait just a second, I don't mind what's second and beyond, but I'm not gonna let you imply that Italian food is anything but the best.
よし、いいだろう。じゃあ今から腕っぷしのいい中国人を呼んできて、フランス人、イタリア人、中国人の中で勝った国の料理が世界一だ。
Nah, that's not how this sort of thing works. Fine, let's go find us a well-built Chinese person. Whoever wins in a fight between us three can say their country has the best food.
待て待て、わかった。いや、わかってはいないが、この話題はやめてくれ。
Okay, fine, you win. Well, you don't, but let's change topics before things escalate. She really would hunt for someone too. Only problem is that it doesn't matter what kind of tank she recruits. She'd still beat both of us senseless. Ain't many people who could take her in a fist fight, men included. She's the head of a group teaming with tough seamen for a reason.
さて、フェデリコ、酒はいるか？この紹興酒ってのは溶かした飴みたいでなかなかうまいぞ。
How about it, Federico? Time for booze? This Shanzhoshigan's pretty great. Tastes like dissolved candy.
オデット、あんた。
Give me a break. Just like that, she's baited me into saying her real name.
さっきお前が何を考えてたのか知らないが、無意味な牽制はもうやめねえか。
I don't know what you were thinking about earlier, but how's about we quit wasting each other's time with this whole charade?
どういう意味だ？
What's that supposed to mean? I already know the answer, but I ask anyway. She clugs more of that before showing me a big, toothy smile.
さあな。だがこの女神の選定とやらでよ。使命って情報は一番すぐにわかる情報じゃねえか。
I wonder, it's pretty obvious that everyone's first move in this divine selection game, or whatever it's gonna be, to get a death grip on the other participants' names.
お前はコードネームで呼び合うことを提案したが、意味ねえんだ。調べればわかることだからな。
You wanted code names, but hey, it ain't gonna stop anyone from finding out our real names.
死因もそうだ。自分の死んだ時間におおよその見当がついているから、時間をかけて調べれば、おのずと知ることができる。
Cause of death
特に
too.
私とお前なんか。な。
We all died at the same time, so all it'll take is a bit of digging to find out how everyone kicked the bucket, especially when it involves people like us.
言いたいことはわかるな。
You catch my drift, right?
バカにするな。この選定は未練を探り合う情報戦ってことが言いたいんだろ。それくらいは分かってる。
Yeah, no need to treat me like an idiot. I'm aware that information warfare's the name of the game here. Gotta find out the one others regret too.
分かった上でコードネームを使うってんだから、お前は小物なんだよ。 使命なんて捨てろ捨てろ。
Same to you as well.
未練はカードでランダムに配布されてるじゃねえか。誰かが俺たちの未練のカードを持っているはずだぜ。
Everyone's regret card was handed out to other participants at random, right? That means one of them knows yours and one knows mine.
初期カードはランダムなんだから、都合よく私らの情報を3枚揃えられるわけじゃない。
Well, yeah, but there ain't no way someone's gonna luck out and get all 3 pieces of information either of us when they're handed out at random.
1回目の選定で誰も私らを指名しなかったんだから、運よく揃ったやつはいないってことが明らかになってる。
No one elected either of us during the first round, which serves as proof.
あのインド人も私らのカードを入手したわけじゃなさそうだしな。もしそうならやれるやつからやってった方が得だ。
Doesn't seem like that Indian guy has our cards either. If he did, then he would have gone straight for us, since he knows it's best to take out the toughest competition first.
もし最初に配られた3枚で誰かの手元にあんたのカードが揃ってたらどうするつもりだったんだ。
What would you have done if someone just so happens to get all your cards when they were first distributed?
運命を呪うだけだよ。賭けに負けたって死ぬだけだ。
Nothing much. I just die knowing that I lost my bet and curse my fate about it. I really can't stand this woman sometimes. She makes you think she's got it all planned out, but she leaves the most crucial bits up to luck. Her cautious and rational actions ends up getting thrown out of the window when she goes wild for no discernible reason. I honestly don't know what's going on in her head. This is the first time I've come across a woman who doesn't just do whatever a man tells them to do. The worst part of it all, though.
まあ最後の2人になるまでは協力関係だ。従わないってんならまた殴ってやるからかかってきな。
Well, either way, we're working together till it's just us two. If you ain't up for it, then let me smack you around some more. That's what she does to resolve everything. She resorts to violence. I can't call her a nasty name out loud, so I just keep the insults to myself.
でだ。選定の最後の日には日本にいなくちゃいけないんだろ。なのにどうして俺たちは中国にいるんだ。
Is there a reason we're in China when we need to be in Japan for the final day of divine selection?
決まってるだろ。私は北京ダックが好きだが、本場では食ったことがなかったんだ。
Ain't it obvious? As much as I love Peking duck, I've never been able to eat it right here in Beijing before.
おいおいマジ
You
かよ。
serious?
ついでに宿題の答え合わせをしに来たんだ。
We've got some homework to do out here as well.
は？
Yeah.
私たちの船が襲われる直前、中国食品企業の重役さんが会議中に倒れたってニュースが入ってたんだ。
Right before our ship got attacked, I caught wind of a top brass executive for a Chinese food company collapsing during a meeting. As you might have guessed, Odette's the representative of a certain shipping company. Of course, we're talking about this woman, so ain't no way it's a plain old shipping company. Doesn't matter if it involves drugs or even dead bodies, they'll take any job they're paid to do. In that regard, you could call them smugglers. Their existence is kept in the dark, though, likely because certain governments aren't shy about making use of them. Well, it's not quite accurate to say they'll take up any job, considering Odette's made it a point to turn down anything she considers boring. Certain circumstances leads to my hitching a ride on her boat, which is how we end up cooperating in the first place.
選定で生還した後、気になったんで詳細を調べたんだ。だが、そんな事件の情報はなかった。
I went to look up more info on it after we'd been brought back here, but turns out there wasn't any record on the incident at all.
おいそれって。
Yes, because you traversed backwards in time. Hold on, does that mean I can't even take a bite of food in front of my mouth when she says that? She, on the other hand, grabs a bottle of that and downs what's left of it.
仕事柄、こういう世界の情勢ってのを気にしてないといけないから、 私は一度聞いたら忘れね
I gotta keep tabs on this sort of info thanks to my line of work, so I ain't gonna forget about something like that easily.
え。ローチャンホ。そいつの名前だ。調べ直してみたらまあ、ピンピンしてるみたいだぜ。
His name's Ro Chanho. I dug deeper after that, and he's the kicker. He seems to be alive and well. What? The moment she mentions his name, the book beside her emits a strange light. It's a big, thick, burn-coloured book with some gold leaf decorations on it, but there ain't no pages in it, just a big hole in the middle of when you open it. I've got the exact same book, see? It's some kind of card storing book used for divine selection.
こいつはいい。
Now we're talking. The dull light focuses into a single point once she opens the book. It gradually fades and replaces a rectangular piece of paper. Odette catches it while it's hovering in mid-air.
ローチャンホのカード。つまり、7番の使命のカードで。
Bingo! Looks like our friend Rochano is numerical 7.
マジかよ、こんな簡単に。
Damn, that was easy. That girl who was going on about being a goddess mentioned that the cause of all our deaths have been undone. The fact that Odette was able to notice such a paradox proves that the girl wasn't lying.
こうなりゃ当てずっぽうだ。ローは太っていたな。ってことは、糖尿病を患ってたかもしれない。
Now we've got to play the guessing game. He was a fatso, so he might have had diabetes.
そうなると、低血糖。いや、企業の重役に上り詰めた奴が命に関わるミスを犯すとは思えない。会議中に突然死。脳梗塞か心筋梗塞だな。
Which means he could have died from low blood sugar. Then again, I can't see a bigwig like him not taking the proper precautions, so if something killed him unexpectedly, then it'd more than likely have been a stroke or heart attack.
カードは出ない。な。
No love from the cards, huh? She calls it a guessing game, but she clearly isn't taking stabs in the dark. Does the fact that a card didn't appear mean she's not on the right track?
いや、カードが生成されるには条件があんのかもしれねえな。ローの名前に気づいていたのに、今までカードが出なかったのはなぜだ？
Maybe there's some kind of condition that causes the cards to appear. How come Rose's name card never appeared before now, even though I'd learnt about him earlier?
わかるかよ、そんなもん。他にいないか迷ってみたらどうだ？
Hell if I know. Guess you gotta think a little harder if you're that unsure.
お前も考えろってんだ。いや、待てよ。迷う。さっきの私は迷っていた。私の確信がなかった。
How about you help me out here? Wait a minute. I thought up a few other possibilities just now, but I wasn't sure whether they were right or not.
でかい独り言だな。
You sure love talking to yourself. My attempt to tease her falls on deaf ears. The grin that spreads across her face soon after bursts with confidence.
どちらかといえば、確率が高いのは脳梗塞。糖尿病の合併症で、会議中突発的に起きてもおかしくはない。
Between a stroke
これでどうだ？
Between a stroke and a heart attack, I'd bet that he suffered the former. Wouldn't be surprising if his diabetes caused him to have one out of the blue during this meeting. How's that sound? She directs her question towards the book, as if it nod back. Amazing enough, it did respond. It reacts the same way as when she obtained Rose's name card.
7番の死因、脳梗塞。今回はどうにかなったが、単純な当てずっぽうじゃダメみたいだ。一個分かったルールは、確信を持たないとカード化されないってとこだが、かなり曖昧だな。
Numerical 7's cause of death was a stroke. Things went well this time, but it seems one of the rules is that you gotta believe in your answer to make a card appear. Can't expect results from blind guessing, even though it all seems kinda ambiguous.
確信ね。
Gotta believe in it, huh? I should mention that Odette went through the entire process while she continued to chow down on her food. I'd plan on going easy on the booze so I can stay rational, but I end up drowning my drink as well. I think that being stuck with her is a bad thing, but on the other hand, it might be perfect for me. This woman, it's gotta be useful. It's gonna be useful. It's not often that you find someone who's got the brains to match the brawn, so I should be able to get rid of anyone in my way with her around. Why would she cooperate with me though? Maybe she figures I have all of the info I need on her, so she's doing this to make sure I don't hand anything off to the other participants. We were in the same boat when it sank, so naturally you'd think we both died the same way, and since I've got her name and cause of death, she wants to keep me in check. What she doesn't know is that I don't actually know her cause of death. She shouldn't know mine either. We might have died when the ship was attacked, but the actual causes weren't drowning or from fire. In reality, the only info we have on each other is our names. Odette's just make it seem that she knows more than she has leverage over me. She can have leverage over me. Basically, this whole cooperation thing is a front so that she can get her hands on my info for when we're the last two remaining.
いい食いっぷりになったじゃねえか。
Yeah. Now that's the kind of chow down I like to see.
この店にある一番いいワインを持ってきてくれ。
Bring us the best one you've got.
いいぜ。付き合ってやる。
Yeah, count me in. The most important challenge of my life is about to begin. I ain't about to fall, and I certainly ain't gonna let her drink me under the table. Oh dear. We end up drinking till all of the wine in the restaurant is gone. Amazing enough, she pops open another bottle back at the hotel as a substitute for water. I'm not about to join her, so I go back to my room and sleep. The next morning, I notice I have Rose's card in my book too. And where are we now? Later that day, Odette gets me to start tailing him. Needless to say, this is for the sake of getting information regarding his regret. Divine selection takes place at 12 PM on Sunday, Japanese Standard Time. So we'll be in a good spot if we manage to get all three pieces of information on him before then. As why I'm tailing him on my own, well, Odette's down with a hangover. Not in the way you would imagine though. She ain't suffering in bed, she's blanked off and screaming at everyone and everything. I can't believe she's making me second guess her usefulness just one day later. Odette, this ain't good. Not long after I start tailing him, I have to rush back to the hotel to get Odette. Rose's company was located in one of those fancy high-class buildings in the middle of Beijing City. I lost sight of him thanks to it being so crowded, but I managed to learn his plans. A few minutes after entering the building, he made his way back out, acting as someone there on official business. I asked the front desk about his schedule, to which they replied he was leaving on a business trip. They were hesitant about revealing the destination at first, but I managed to get them to reveal that he'd be staying in Taiwan for 3 days while visiting their local branch. Turns out we can hop onto the same flight as him if we haul ass over to the airport. He's on his way to Taiwan, so get moving. We're going after him. I knock on her door, fully expecting her to flip out at me. Imagine my surprise when she struts over out of the room all ready to go, luggage and all. As an aside, our phones and credit cards were perfectly intact, despite our washing up ashore, so we didn't have any issue buying whatever gear we needed. I just told the front desk that we'd be checking out. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I was fully aware of his plans when we were hushed things out last night. Why'd you get me to tell him then? Ain't much of a co-op if I'm doing all the ops. Know what I mean? I plan on calling the whole thing off if you couldn't get your hands on such basic info. She drops that bombshell on me like it's a casual greeting. The fact that she doesn't mention what she'd do with me if I failed her little test proves how twisted she is. Why do I gotta be tested in the first place?
食えない女だ。
You're a bit too sly for your own good.
何か言ったか？
What was that?
でもねえよ。
We leave a hotel after I rush to get my stuff together. Cool. Okay. And it is exactly the same as the one in Beijing, huh? Having made it on time to catch the same flight as Ro, we make our way to our hotel in Taiwan after landing. It's the same hotel as he's staying in, so we choose a room far away from his and then discuss our next move over some wine and cheese.
しかしビビったぜ。あんた、飛行機の中でローを探すんだから。
Gotta hand it to you. I don't think you try to find him on the flight itself.
生意気にビジネスクラスに乗ってやがったからロビーで見つからなかったんだ。まあ、エコノミーじゃ出っ張った腹が邪魔だろうがな。
While I couldn't find him in the flight's lobby since he had the nerve to fly business class, then again it's probably the best meal he did, since that stomach of his would just blank off everyone in economy.
偶然座席が余っててアップグレードできたんで到着ロビーから尾行してホテルを突き止められた。結果オーライだな。
Glad I was able to upgrade business class myself though. Managed to tell him from the arrival lounge to his hotel because of that.
ビジネスクラスでいい思いをしたのはあんただけな。あんたは選定の場所で顔が割れてるんだぜ。ローが騒いだりしたらどうするつもりだったんだ。
Meanwhile, I was stranded in economy. You do realize the other participants know your face, right? What would you have done if he noticed and started to panic?
そんなこと警戒すらしてなかったみたいだ。まさか私ら選定の参加者が中国まで追ってきてるとは思ってないみたいだ。
He didn't seem bothered. Probably doesn't expect other participants to make their way out to China to find him.
いや、それ以前に平然と仕事をして暮らしているあたり、ありゃもしかしたら選定そのものを信じていない可能性もあるな。
In fact, the way he's working and going about his daily life may mean that he doesn't actually believe that divine selection is happening.
まともな大人なら信じないだろ、あんなもん。俺もあんたと一緒に漂着したから信じたってもんだ。
True. Most adults wouldn't believe this rubbish. Only reason I did it because we both washed ashore together. She grins non-hesitantly before continuing.
自分の死を冷静に認識できてれば、どうして生きているって疑問が浮かぶんだけどな。そうなりゃ、選定とやらの存在を信じざるを得ない。
Surely you have some questions about how you're still alive if you're aware that you're dead. Though, seems like enough to believe that this whole situation for real.
そんな風にぶっ飛んでんのはあんただけだ。
Pretty sure you're the only one with enough screws loose to reach that conclusion.
そんなことより滞在期間気にならないか。
More importantly, something's fishy about how long he's staying here, wouldn't you say? I grab some squares of cheese as I pose that question to her. Once I confirm that she's reacted to it, I continue.
会社で聞いた時のあいつの出張期間は2泊。だがフロントで聞いたら、いや、問い詰めたらロはここに1泊しかしないらしい。
The people at his work said he'd be gone for two nights and 3 days. But the front desk here says he's only here for tonight.
お前、ローに報告がいかないようにうまくやったんだろうな。
I hope he made sure he won't find out about your snooping.
鳥模様だ。クレーマーのふりをしてローの部屋がうるさい、部屋を変えてくれって言ってやった。そしたらフロントのやつは明日までだから我慢してくれって。
Damn right I did. I started shouting at them about how he's been too noisy and that they should fix things, only for them to tell me to deal with it since he's leaving in the morning.
まあ、旧大点か。確かに、そいつは妙だな。あいつは明日に台湾支社へ行って、明後日には工場の視察に行く予定になっているはずだ。
I guess that works. Still, that's odd. From what I gathered, he's visiting the Taiwan branch for tomorrow and one of their factories the day after.
どちらも、このホテルからのアクセスは悪くないはずだが。
This hotel is pretty ideal for getting to both locations too.
まあいい。ならお前は明日も張り込みを頼む。私は別の視点から調べ物をしてみる。
Oh well, just tell him again tomorrow. I'll do my own digging in the meantime.
はあ？なんだよそれ。
Mind being a bit more specific?
今日は飯だ。台湾料理はまだ食ってないからな。 私は海の幸にはうるさいが、どれ、地中海料理との違いを堪能してやろうぜ。
Let's forget about it for now and focus on tonight's grub. I still haven't had Taiwanese food yet, so I'm curious how it stacks up against good old Mediterranean.
ま、いずれにせよ早まってローを問い詰めたりしたら逆効果だしな。
Well, guess we're best off not rushing things and messing it all up. We'll split the rest of the wine between us and finish the cheese.
地中海はフランスのもんじゃなくイタリアのもんだ。海の幸の比較なら俺の方が適任だわな。
Hey, just to be clear, Mediterranean cuisine belongs to Italy and not France. If anyone's going to compare its quality to the seafood here, then it's me. Okay. If you say so, darling. Okay, so the next one is on Sunday, so it's Friday at the moment. Good and cool beans. Didn't expect to be within the eyes of another protagonist like. I thought the main protagonist would be Rinka, but there seems to be more than one. The major thing I take away from yesterday's activities is that, surprisingly, Taiwanese food ain't half bad. Yeah, they could work on the presentation a bit, but those steamed shrimp buns were delicious. Could see myself getting hooked on those rice noodles too. Don't even forget the spicy stuff either. Adding some of that and that really created a perfect and rich balance between sweet and sour. Oops, that's enough Odette impressions in one day. Even my stomach regrets eating so much last night. Here I am in the hotel's parking lot early in the morning waiting for Ro. Once I see him leaving the taxi, I make sure to follow. And now I've been sitting around outside his company's building for a good part of a day. Boring as hell, but I'm used to waiting at this point. The streets of Taiwan really are an interesting sight, though. You could get a good hour's worth of entertainment from people watching. Too bad I still got another 7 hours left. After what feels like an eternity, I finally spot him leaving the building. Here we go. I figure he'll make his way back by taxi too, but it looks like he's hoofing it instead. It's entirely possible that the people at the front of the desk told me he'd only be staying one night just to get rid of me. But the fact that he's not going straight back by taxi proves nothing. He could be going out for a meal with someone first. That much is normal for a corporate bigwig like him. As it turns out, he ends up at an Italian restaurant in town. A restaurant, to be accurate. Not accurate by my speeches, by the way. Italian restaurants are split into restaurants. These four are the fanciest of the three. Huh? At least he's got good taste. The glass paneling makes the restaurant easy to keep an eye on. So I waltz into a cafe directly across the street. It's got glass paneling as well, so there's no danger of losing track of him. I order an espresso and dump plenty of sugar into it. It's going to be a struggle to make this last as long as a meal, but I gotta deal with it. As far as I can tell, it seems like a real fancy joint. Looks like he's made a reservation, judging by how he gets taken to a seat by one of the staff right away. Soon after, someone takes a seat across from him. A young woman. She's wearing one of those gitsy red dresses that dirty old geezers stroll over. I'm pretty sure he's got a family, but it doesn't take much for me to catch on to what this is about. She ain't my type, but there's no denying that she's a looker. Doesn't seem like a random hostess either. Hardly surprising considering the kind of person he is, I guess. Having discovered their relationship, I spend the rest of my time watching them enjoy their meal. Guess he's picked out a wine beforehand. Gotta hand it to him. Red wine like that will send any woman over the moon, assuming they've got good taste. It's just a shame that he's using his bread to wipe up the leftover pasta sauce. You're gonna make that woman feel ashamed to be with you, buddy. The restaurant seems like it's more on the expensive end compared to others around here too. Chances are he started going to these types of places more often once he hit a certain age. He has the appropriate manners, but sticking to them and also dropping old habits can prove to be tricky. Not like anyone's going to call him out for it, considering his age and position. 3 hours pass by before they finish eating and enjoying their after-dinner espresso. I get myself ready to leave while Ro plays for the whole thing by card. Fortunately, I know exactly what their plan is after this, probably because I do the same thing. Once they leave and get into a taxi, I jump into another one and follow them. We end up making their way back to the woman's apartment, so after I confirm that they've gone inside, I return to the hotel. I don't know much about the Taiwanese dogs, but some breed I've never seen before came out to greet them before when they arrived at her place.
遅かったじゃねえか。
Took your damn time.
まあな。
Part of the job. How's things on your end? She waves her hand in dismissal. Guess she wasn't able to learn anything interesting, so now she's peed off. Meanwhile, I'm feeling pretty great because I've got on my hands on some crucial information.
じゃあ情報を手に入れたのは俺だけってことか。
Hey, don't do that now. Looks like I'm the only one who came out of this with more information then.
もったいぶらずにとっとと言いやがれば赤チン。
Quit bragging and spit it out. Yep, she's peed off alright. I heave a quick sigh before explaining what I saw.
どの野郎。真面目な顔して女と合流してやがった。
Our respectable businessman was out meeting a woman.
女？家族じゃないな。
Not family, I
妻
assume.
も3人の子供もまだ北京に住んでいるはずだ。
His wife and 3 kids should still be in Beijing.
ああ、若い女だったぜ。ありゃ愛人だな。
It could
マ
be...
ンションに入るとき、
It could-
キスをしてやがった。
It could be an affair, regret? Right, she was a young one. No doubt she's his lover, considering they shared a little kiss before heading to her apartment.
悪趣味なやつだ
Ugh,
な。
what a scumbag.
だろ。あの太っちょ、真面目そうな顔した愛人作ってやがったんだ。犬にも懐かれてるみたいだから、相当通い詰めてるぜ。
Right, the fatty acts all respectable when he's got a hot little dash on the side. Even her dog seems attached to him, so there's no doubt he visits often.
犬にもね。おっと、悪趣味なのはお前だぜ。中年男の恋事情を覗き見してんだからさ。
But I was talking about you. What kind of person spies on a middle-aged man's affairs like that?
あんた、イラついてるからってそりゃねえぜ。
Look, you can't accuse me of whatever you want just because you're peed off.
ともかくだ。こいつの未練は愛人で決まりだな。
Anyway, it's pretty much a given that his regret has to do with his lover. Our last 2 attempts were regarding his family and work, but neither caused the card to appear. It might have been because we weren't exactly certain, but a part of me felt that we just weren't on the right track. I'm confident about this one though, which is why I direct my comments to the book, expecting to churn out a card to me.
おい、どうなんだ？愛人で間違いないはずだろ。
Come on, what is this rubbish? It's gonna be his lover. All that follows is a brief period of absolute silence, sends the sound of air conditioning humming away in the background.
残念。読みが甘かったみたいだな。あれだけ自信満々で反応しないんだから、情報自体が間違ってるってことだろうな。
Looks like you didn't dig deep enough. The fact that nothing happened despite your misplaced confidence proves you're wrong. I have no comeback. All I could do is begrudgingly jam a cigarette in my mouth.
吸うなら喫煙所へ行ってくれ。私はタバコの煙が嫌いなんだ。
Mind going to the smoking area? I really can't handle the smell of those things. Yeah, I agree. It's sick.
おい、また明日あいつを追うんだな。
Guess we gotta start over. Want me to tell him again tomorrow? She flashes me her standard grin in response.
お前にはまた尾行をしてもらおうかな。私は今度こそ尻尾を掴んでやるさ。
I guess you can have fun doing that again. Meanwhile, I'm gonna make sure that I get the right dirt on him this time around.
好きにしてくれよ。今頃は愛人とよろしくだよ。
Whatever. Can't believe he's screwing around with his lover while I'm stuck here. I found myself eyeing Odette after saying that, but nah. I wanna go at it with someone like her even if she asked. I head out to have a smoke after that, a little annoyed at myself for even considering that option. And it's now Saturday. Thought so. We leave Taiwan in the morning and check back in the same hotel as before when we got back to Beijing. I part ways with Odette, who says she has something she wants to look into, and then I start tailing Ro again. Getting anything worthwhile regarding his regrets as he goes about his daily business proves to be a lot more difficult than expected, so I make my way back to the hotel after confirming that he's returned home. Yeah, where were you exactly?
まあどこでもいいじゃないの。さて、あとは日曜を迎えるだけだし、宴会しに行こう。
Oh, nowhere special.
あそこの北京ダックはうまかった。
We're pretty much done until Sunday, so let's go and celebrate somewhere. How about the place where we ate at our first day here? Starting to crave that Peking duck again.
Huh?
Wait, what? You found out his regret?
ああ、だがお前にはまだ教えない。指名が2人になったら優先権とやらの取り合いになるからな。
Yeah, that was part of the rules. Sure did. Ain't telling you though. Last week I need is for two of us electing him at the same time and having to share our own info. That goddess did mention something to that effect, now that I think about it. Like, if two or more people elect the same person, they gotta reveal one piece of their own info to everyone else to gain election priority. Sure, you'll be able to gain info from the person who nominates, but you'll be putting way too much at risk in exchange, sorry. Odette is removing the chances of that happening to us by not telling me. In other words, she doesn't trust me. Can't say I trust her either, though.
ところでよ。いい加減怪しまれるぜ、おっさん。
Anyway, how long are you gonna hang around there like a creep, geezer? Her sudden insult takes me aback, but she isn't addressing me. She is looking over the door I entered from. I approach the door, praying that worst case scenario in my head won't take place and then open it. I see my cover was blown quite fast. Rochano, the very man we've been following around, is standing right here. That means he's the one who's been tailing me all along. When did you...
2人で協力していたとは正直意外だったよ。だがどうにも嫌な感じがしてね。最初は裏金を調べに来たマスコミかとも思ったが、
I admit,
君のようなチンピラがそうとは思えなかった。
the fact that you two are working together took me by surprise. At first I thought you were part of the press just trying to dig into my slush funds, but that didn't seem fitting for a thug like yourself. Did you just call me a thug? He continues talking, blatantly ignoring me.
Odette Maranson. 私をこそこそ調べていた首謀者。
I assume you're the one responsible for all this. Odette Manankon.
首謀者ときたか。やっぱり私の方が偉そうに見えるってことだね。
Well, I guess even you're smart enough to realize I'm the brains of this operation.
そんなことはどうでもいい。
That's irrelevant. He's right, the important bit is that he called her by her name. Meaning, he's in possession of her name card. He made a clear attempt to bait a response from her. Chances are she realizes that as well, which is why she responded the way she did.
夢の世界。なかなか信じられない話ではあったが、夢の中で出会った人物が同じ飛行機の中にいたら、信じないわけにはいかん。
I did find it difficult to swallow the whole dream world nonsense, but one can't help but believe it when someone they saw in a dream winds up on the same flight as them.
君のように目立つ女性は間違えるはずもないしね。
That goes double for a woman who stands out as much as you do. Yes, she really does stand out. Not only is she pretty damn tall, but she's also built like a tank. You could say that she's got looks, but those don't stand out near as much. Yeah, you ain't wrong about that.
おい、何ニヤニヤしてんだ。
What are you grinning at, punk?
君こそ笑っている場合ではないのでは。私がなぜわざわざここへ来たと思う。
You may want to wipe that smirk off your face. Surely you understand why I'm here, don't you?
取引だ。私にも家族がいる。こんなところで死ぬわけにはいかないからね。
Let's work something out. I have a family to support, so I can't allow myself to die right now.
お前さんは私の死因か未練のどちらかを知っているわけだ。
I take it you know either my cause of death or my regrets, then? She takes a deep breath before shaking her head.
両方じゃないな。だったら最初の選定で私を殺している。
It can't be both. You'd have killed me during the first round if that were the case.
話が早くて助かるよ。
Please to see that you have your wits about you.
待て。こっちはあんたの情報をすべて持ってるんだぞ。
Hold on.
立ち聞きしてたんだから分かってるはずだ。
If you are eavesdropping, then you should know that we've got all your info.
ああ。だから私の取引はこうだ。
Proposition is as follows.
ミス・オデット。君は私を指名しないと約束してくれ。さもなければ、このチンピラに君の情報を欲しい。
Miss Odette, I need you to promise that you won't lex me. If you don't, then I'll tell this little fuck here everything I have on you. His expression is deathly serious. I have to stop myself from cracking a smile. Room as silent as can be, but not for the reason he is hoping. At long last, Odette shudders the illusion when she bursts out in laughter. She follows that up by punching him square in the face, which sends him flying over the opposite side of the room. That dude must weigh over 200 pounds, a true testament to her ridiculous strength. Have you lost your mind? She saunters over to him, takes a seat and laughs right in his face. He's holding his cheek after that punch, but it looks to me that his nose took more damage considering it's gushing blood. That's your proposition? Give me a break.
なんだと？今すぐ情報をばらしてもいいんだぞ。そうすれば貴様らは仲間割れに。
So you're fine with me revealing your information? Your little cooperation will crumble right away if I do.
やってみろよ。だが、そうしたら私はお前の家族を全員こいつに殺させる。
Just try it, fatty. Know that I'll have this thug kill your whole family if you do.
Huh?
She punches the floor as her way of telling me to keep my mouth shut.
お前の目論みが成功して仲間割れしたとして、万が一に私が負けて、こいつが生き残ったらどうだ？
Let's say your little plan
お前の家
works.
族が死んだことはなかったことにはならないぞ。
Did you ever consider the idea of him making it through to the end? Your family wouldn't be coming back to life anytime soon if that happened.
家族だけじゃなく、お前の未練も死んじまう。
Hell, not just your family. We'll get your little regret to join them.
貴様、なんて下道な。
You're beyond insane.
黙れよ、クソじじい。
Shut it, you disgusting piece of trash. Oh, she stands up and kicks him straight in the gut. Gotta say, even I think she's overdoing it a bit.
小物が生きがってんじゃねえ。お前がおとなしく死んどけば何もかもうまくいくんだよ。
You're acting way too big for your boots. I want everything to go nice and smooth, so just give up and resign yourself to death.
取引がしたいってんなら、てめえも私の情報を集めてからだ。私が指名してもちゃんと防御できるようにな。
If you want to make propositions, then make sure you got some real info on me first, enough to protect yourself if I elect you.
貴様
You insolent little.
ビジネスマンなら0を1にする交渉じゃなく、1を100にする取引をすべきだろ。
A real businessman wouldn't try to make something out of nothing. They take something small and turn it into an empire. She grabs him by the collar while she spits out her insults. All he could do is respond. Sorry, all he could do in response is to close his eyes and turn his head away.
遺言状でも書いてな。意味はなくなっちまうけどよ。
Go write yourself a will or something. Not that anyone will see it after you're gone. Ouch. Once she finishes, she motions for me to go back into the room with her. There's plenty I want to call her out on, but the last thing I want to do is go against her will right now. It's like I said before, she's the type of person who tries to ultimately solve everything through violence. Once we're back in the room, she acts like nothing just happened. That's a good idea. Take our minds away from the situation in hand. Anyway, let's go get some grub. Right. This woman really is nuts. The Mafia might do some shady stuff now and then, but we still have some attachment to society's norms, considering we dip our hands in regular business to a certain extent. Meanwhile, people like her who live by the rules of the sea lack any such attachments. That realization helps to explain why even a mafioso myself can be surprised by someone's insanity. Quite. We still have our family and our pride. Ro has outright vanished by the time we left the hotel to get some food. I actually feel pretty bad when I think about how he's probably spending what little time he has left with his family. That being said, the fact I'm here enjoying some food and booze despite it all proves how messed up I am too. Once we're satisfied our stomachs, Odette hits me with a threatening gaze. This again. Just to be clear, don't you dare try and contact him in secret, you hear me? If you do, then let's just say I know how to make people wish they were dead. She says it's like it's a perfectly acceptable topic to bring up during a meal. Yeah. We'll keep this alliance going until it's just the two of us left. Oh, so now you're gonna act like the head honcho, huh? But, come on, you know what I meant. Just don't hit me, alright? I'm gonna go talk to Ro if you do. Now that's a sense of humor I can appreciate. She lets out a raucous laugh, but I can tell it's phony. Odette is the kind of person who walks a thin line at all times while making sure that everyone else thinks her otherwise. Not that I'm one to talk when I do the same myself. She says she wants to avoid us both electing Ro, but another reason she's refusing to tell me his regret is because she knows there's a chance he has info on her. The fact that I've only realised such a simple truth now proves that I'm still in no position to get the advantage over her. Jumping ship to Ro's side would do more worse than good for me too. So basically, I'm best off remaining her ally. Gotta say, it feels great to smack around big guys like him. Should have given him another one for the hell of it. You were enjoying every moment of that, weren't you? I personally don't agree with this at all. Oh, you could tell? Honestly, it's hard to beat the rush you get when you know someone's life is in your hands. You could have been a real dumbass to earn the wrath of someone this insane. Having finished our business, all that's left to do is to wait for the second round to start. Okie dokie. And we're back with Rinka. Okay, there seems to be no progress at all these past few days in regard to divine selection. Oh dearie me. Save in page 2. There's been no progress at all these past few days in regards to the divine selection. As for things with Miharu. Nothing's really changed between me and Miharu ever since this whole thing started. That's not true. There's actually been a significant change. I'm referring to the fact that we're both just acting as though nothing's changed. As for Naomi, I've been seeing her more and more recently. That's mainly due to my teaching her how to brew coffee for the culture festival. She spilled boiling water and folded the filter on a good number of times, but fortunately, none of our cups have been broken. Yet. That's likely due to the fact that she's aware how much my grand treasures them, so she takes extra care despite her inherent clumsiness. Might as well go to bed. I say this out loud for no reason. For what I remember, I was taken to the dream world at midnight last night. Might as well go to sleep now if that'll happen again. I glance over to the clock, which says it's 11 PM, and then I shut my eyes. Don't want to be late for the divine selection, huh? Here we are. In itself, the divine selection. I guess it doesn't matter whether I'm awake or asleep. I find myself in a court of fate once again. It's as impressive as ever, and as I figured, it doesn't matter whether or not I'm asleep when the time comes. To my left is Miharu, and to my right is the Middle Eastern man. I take brief glances at both of their faces, opting not to engage with either of them. Part of me is afraid of that man. It doesn't seem fazed by the fact that he eliminated someone last night. I can't imagine I remain that stoic, knowing I'd just stolen someone's future from them. None of the other participants speak to each other. Instead, we allow an oppressive silence to rule the court. Good evening, my lovely little slaves to fate. The one to break that silence is none other than the girl we've all grown familiar with. She stands in the middle of the court, her posture as elegant as ever. I'm fairly sure she wasn't here when I arrived, and yet she's here now. I assume this is what it'd feel like if you saw someone teleport in front of you. She actually might be teleporting though, assuming the whole thing about being a goddess is true. I see your spirits are still rather high, much to my disappointment. Has the reality of your deaths yet hit to you? Just hearing her speak helps convince me that she's not lying about being a goddess. You can tell that she's looking down on us based on her ruthlessness, which somehow seems fitting for a goddess. I've definitely reevaluated my thoughts on her over the past week. What's she going on about now? Very well, then allow us to begin tonight's election. She softly announces the beginning of the end. Revolve, O clock of fate. In response to her command, the hands on the clock begin to move. The long-minute hand points at me. I didn't notice during the first round thanks to my circumstances, but this is basically the method of confirming whether or not a participant wants to elect someone. I'll pass. Miharu opts not to elect anyone as well. The man appointed as numeral 3 does the same. He's tall and wears a suit. I assume he's European based on his facial features. That reminds me, how is it determined that we'll be wearing while here? I sincerely doubt he'd be sleeping in the suit, so did he get brought here while awake? Not like you're wearing a time reflects on what you'll be wearing here either. The fact that I'm wearing my school uniform despite going to bed in my pajamas proves it. As for Miharu, she's also in her uniform. This outfit doesn't stand out too much, so I doubt anyone could identify it without taking a picture first. But that doesn't change the fact that info on me is out of the open. I can't do anything about it so long as I don't understand how it influenced my appearance though. Putting that aside, I take a look at all the other participants again. Out of everyone, numeral 7 is the one who's visibly distressed. Maybe Parser was just acting clinical before. There's no doubt that he'll be elected tonight. I'm sure that's what everyone else is thinking too. There's likely nothing in common between us all, other than the juncture of causality theme Parsia mentioned before. Our ages, gender, and nationality are all over the place. The Mariel 9 and 10 are younger than me, even both are girls and foreigners from what I can tell. But one of the left we've met before. Why did kids as young as them have to die? The fact I can only come to know that, so know the reason for eliminating them is nauseating. No, before I know, the clock hands make their way around to numerical 11. It's a tall woman built almost like a sports athlete. Not only are her legs nice and long, but her chest is sizable as well. Yeah. You could tell there's no way in the world she's Japanese based on her looks. I'm normally jealous of tall people because of my height, but even I know it's impossible for me to even look like that. A clock hand stops in front of her. I feel like our eyes meet all of a sudden, probably because I've been staring at her for so long. I avert my eyes immediately. I don't know why, but my instincts are telling me to fear her. She's not normal. Not just because of her build, but something fundamentally different between her and regular people like me. It's a different kind of fear than the one I feel in relation to numerical 12 too. Part of me gets worried that I'm about to be elected, but as I expect, she goes straight for numerical 7. The small hour hand spins and points to him. The platforms both of them are standing on begin to emit an odd light. After that, the minute hand shifts to numerical 12, who simply shakes his head. Looks like he's not electing anyone tonight. Numerical 11 elects numerical 7. Very well. Pastor smiles once the longer hand flashes making its way around. That's not the face one should normally make when they know someone is about to be eliminated. Okay, both of their platforms start to move and gradually rise above us. The same thing happened last night too. Only one of them will return. I take my eyes off the rising platforms after muttering that. Doesn't take long for them to finish. Also, as I expect, it's the woman who returns. She reports the results to Parser, her expression one of obvious displeasure. I got numerical 5's name. That damn geezer was a wuss right until the end. Numerical 5 looks like the oldest of us all. He's most likely Japanese. He doesn't react when she mentions that she's learned his name, although he might just be feigning indifference. In fact, the woman seems to be more transparent with her emotions than him. She's the complete opposite of numerical 12 when he elected and eliminated someone. While he displayed no emotion at all, she's openly annoyed. But deep down, she seems to be enjoying this. She reminds me of a kid who gets angry when they lose a game, but secretly enjoy the experience. Tonight's session resulted in one elimination. I bid you all farewell for now. I want some more time to observe things here, but Parser brings an end to tonight's round without a moment's hesitation. Unlike the first round, I've come away from this one having learnt a lot more. Unfortunately, that only serves to give me an even worse feeling about the days to come. Second week completed. We're back at the hotel now. By the time Odette eliminates Rue, morning has come. I can't even remember whether I was asleep or whether I was awake or asleep when we get taken into the dream world. It's partially due to the fact that I didn't take the time difference between here and Japan into account, but from now on, I should make sure to remain more alert on Sundays. Once we've gotten ready to leave, We called on room service to bring us up some breakfast.
でよ、結局ロの未練は何だったんだ
So in the end, what was Rose's regret?
なんだまだ予想がついてなかったのか
Figured
お前が自
you
分で言ってたんだぞ
figured you have known by now. You even mentioned it yourself.
は
I did? I'll think back to my previous suggestions, a bait without much confidence.
やっぱり愛人関係なの
So it had something to do with his lover?
まあいいか
Oh
それ
boy.
じゃ全く気づいてないみたい
You
だし
really don't have a clue. She gulps down the rest of her Americano before continuing. Gotta say, she's really like espresso's based drink, doesn't she?
犬
Dog related.
犬
Dog?
犬ってあの
You don't
犬
mean...
ああだがあの愛人が飼ってた犬ってわけじゃね
Yes and no. A dog, but not his lover.
えあいつは犬と一生を共にしたかったんだ子犬から育てて成犬になれば友人になり
And
最
he
後を
wasn't...
見とる
And his regret was not being able to be there for the dog's last moment. He wanted to raise one, to be there for it as a pup, to become best friends with it as it grows older, and to be there by its side during its last
あ
moments.
りふれた経験だが得難い経験でもある
Sounds mundane, but few people are able to experience something like that.
犬ごときが未練になるもんだね
Part of me finds it hard to believe that someone could have that much regret over a dog.
人それぞれだろうに
Hmm,
お前の国でもペットを飼うのは普通だろ
come on. Everyone has their own priorities. Ain't it normal to have a pet or two where you're
俺の
from?
国ではな
I'm not fond of having to talk about it myself, so I try to shift topics.
ところでなんでそれが分かったんだ
Mind if I ask how you figured that out?
お前が愛人のところに犬がいるって言っていたのを聞いてピンときたんだ
So there was a little bit of a clue in what you said there. I thought it might be the case where you mentioned that his lover had a dog of her own.
んで調べてたらローの妻が犬アレルギーだったって判明した そりゃ飼えないわけだ
Did a bit of digging after that, and bingo. Turns out his wife has dog allergies, so no surprise he couldn't own one. She spills every last bean on his personal life after that. His parents, who lived in the countryside, had a dog back when he lived with them during his youth. That dog was killed in a traffic accident though. His family refused to get another pet after that since the sudden shock that came from losing it was too much for them. And that led to the birth of Rose's great regret.
今度こそちゃんと死を見とってあげたいってな
Right. He wished he could have been there for his family's dog's final
気
moments.
持ちだけなら分からないでもないな未練になるほどってのは俺は理解できないけどさ
I get where he's coming from, but I just can't imagine it turning into your life's biggest regret. She scoffs in response, believe it or not, but this brute actually has a soft spot for animals. Hell, her ultimate regret might be dog related as well. Not you can have a pet when you're always out of sea. Either way, the discussion moves away from Rose shortly after that. Over the course of his life, he kept too busy and was too financially unstable to own a pet. And once he got married and settled down, he discovered his wife had allergies. Guess we'll never know whether or not he convinced his lover to get a dog because of that, or if he went with her because she already owned one. Hell, she could have just been some lady he hired to look after his secret pet dog. Odette's the only one with those answers now. Oh well. Probably shouldn't concern myself as someone who's been eliminated.
でニュースはどうなった
What did Newsset have to say about him? Yes. The goddess said that anyone eliminated during divine selection would have the reversal of their deaths undone. Not only that, but any events linked to that period of time would also be undone.
俺
See for yourself. She flings her smartphone across the table to me in response. I don't even need to browse the web based on her reaction, so I gave a casual glance toward the screen before handing it back.
2週間前中国の有名企業の役員が会議中に脳梗塞で
2 weeks ago, an executive for a well-known Chinese corporation suffered a stroke during a meeting and died. Yeah, sounds about
とこ
right.
ろでよあの運命の大広間とやらの上はどうなってるんだ
You have to wait for yourself, probably.
上に行ってただろ
Find that out yourself, Federico. Speaking of which, you were taken up above the court of fate when you were elected ruler, right? What's it like up there? I'm starting to find myself curious about how the election process works.
ちーと説明が面倒だが、まあ教えておいた方が今後はいい。
Well, it's a bit of a pain to explain, but I guess it'll be worth it for you to know down the road. She doesn't seem too sure at first, but she decides to take the time to give me a primer. And a pretty long primer at that, even for someone who talks as much as she does. The circular platforms both Odette and Rinka were standing on began to rotate as they were raised above the core of fate. Upon reaching a certain height, they stopped ascending. The layout of the upper area was similar to the lower stratum, but parts of it felt different somehow. The goddess, displaying her usual weary smile, had made her own ascent before either participant could blink. Do you proceed? After ascending, all the cards in Odette's possession sprung out of her book at once. A strange light surrounded them, masking both their number and contents for everyone's view except Odette's.
なんだ、言えばいいんだな。
So, do I just say what info I have in him out loud?
貴様
Do as you please with the cards in your possession. Odette's eyes scanned across the cards in front of her. She currently has 9 cards, including her own. Amongst them were 3 specific cards she needs to read out loud. She brushes her fingers against them before speaking. Seems like another one for a thumbnail worthiness. Ro Chano.
やめろやめてくれ
てめえの死因は脳梗塞。
Cause of death, a stroke.
私には家族がいるんだ私が死んだら家族はどうなる貴様はその責任を背負えるのか
You realize I have a family, don't you? How do you plan to account for them after killing me?
まだ間に合う指名をやめなさい金はある私は株も土地も持っている
Cease this nonsense now and I can recompromise you handsomely. Money, stocks, or even land. You name it and I can provide it. Christ, you're pathetic.
いくら欲しいいくらでも出す私の信用情報ならいくらでも引き出せる一生遊んで暮らせるぞどうす
Please.
る
I'll give you as much as you want. I'll even give you access to my credit details. You'll never have to work another day in your life.
こいつの未練は犬。
His regret was his dog. It's over. It's all over.
金だろうが同情だろうが命の対価にならねえよ。
Sorry, but you can't put a price on my life.
何より勝負事で私が妥協するわけないんだよ。
And more importantly, when it comes to competitions, I'm always in it to win it. Once Odette finished, 3 of her cards floated away from her. After reaching the middle of the court of fate, they come together and formed a triangular shape.
じゃあな、おっさん。
Nice knowing you, geezer. Who knows whether or not he could hear her last words to him. He simply hung his head in despair, realizing that his fate has been sealed. One by one, Odette's cards began to emit a white light. May fortune shine on the departed. Said light got brighter and brighter until it eventually blanketed the entire area. And then it happened. In the brief moment that Odette's vision was blinded by the lights enveloping the area, her consciousness was overtaken by an unfamiliar scene. Her senses were linked to the scene as well. She witnessed a number of old, chubby men. All are wearing expensive suits and sitting in an oddly bright room. Their faces were all twisted into expressions of boredom. The artificial lighting in the room was almost blinding when it reflected off the documents they had brought along. It was apparent that they were holding some sort of meeting. She could tell it was one of great importance. judging by their tones of their voices. However, she was unable to hear the details of their conversation. Some manner of interference prevented her from doing so. And then the unexpected struck. All of a sudden her vision went blurry. Next, her face slammed down onto the table with a thud. She was unable to muster the strength to move her body whatsoever. She collapsed down onto the floor. The unclear voices were now clearly being directed towards her. Eventually her consciousness faded as she lost all bodily sensation. A stream of memories followed. All manner of people were talking to her, but it was impossible to make out a single word they were saying. Regardless, the sense of disconnect she felt at that moment made it clear what was going on. Those were Rose's memories. Memories of the moment he died, engraved upon his very soul. As he drew his last breath, Rose's thoughts were of his dog that died when he was young. Ouch. I can relate to that actually in some ways. By the time the flashback ended, Rose had disappeared from Odette's sight. The card she used to elect him did the same, and the room returned to its usual gloomy atmosphere. One thing she noticed was that the beam of light that shone from above had grown thicker, although she wasn't sure whether or not it was just her imagination.
なるほどな。脱落させた方にも死を体感させるとは。お前の根性は腐ってるみたいだ。
So the electors are forced to experience the death of the elected. Huh? You sure are messed up in the head, aren't you? Parser opted to respond with nothing beyond her weary smile. In her hand were 3 cards. Odette realized that those were the cards that were in Rose's possession.
5、使命、11、使命、11、死因。あなたはどのカードを選びますか?
Numero 5's name, Numero 11's name, or Numero 11's cause of death. Which would you like? The platform on which Odette stood began to move soon after Parser asked her question.
下へ戻るまでに考えておいてくださいね。
Do take your time to think about it while we descend.
選択肢ねえ
Ain't
じゃね
much
え
of a
かそれ
choice, is it? While she had imagined this outcome, the fact that she was so on the money left her visibly annoyed. Following that, both her and Parser returned to the lower level of the Court of Fate.
なるほど。
Well, well. I tried to imagine everything she just explained to me. Basically, you're forced to experience the same deaths of those you eliminate.
嫌な気分だぜ。バルカってのはあんな顔してひどいやつだ。
Man, that's freaky. That Parser girl sure is cruel, despite appearances.
そうかなかなかにスリルがあったけどよ。
You think? I found the whole thing pretty exciting. In response, I make sure to sigh loudly enough for her to hear it. She keeps babbling on without a care in the world, though.
んなことより日本入りするぜ。
More importantly, we're heading to Japan next.
結局行かなきゃいけないから早い方がいいってことだ。
Might as well, considering we'll need to get there at some point.
それにあんたが取得したカードの主はどうやら日本人だったな。相当なジジイだったと思うが。
It's an especially good time to go now. What with that new card you got belonging to a Japanese guy and all. A super old guy at that.
そういうことだ。よし。食ったら出るぞ。
Let's head out after we finish this grub. It finally feels like the second round's over, now that we've decided our next move. Washing down the last flaky bits of my croissant with some milk, I stand up and get ready to leave. Wow. What a frantic turn of events. Rinka. This morning brings back memories of another nightmare with it. The second round of divine selection has taken place. By this point, I've already accepted that I'm a participant. The fact that I'm alive right now makes it hard to comprehend the reality of my own death, but it's no longer about whether or not I believe it. Rather, the events that have taken place so far are starting to get to me because they feel so detached from my own personal life. Defined selections grinding along, and 2 people have been eliminated without any influence from me whatsoever. I keep telling myself that they have died over 2 weeks ago, but I can't forget the faces I saw in the Court of Fate. That alone is enough to make my heart ache. I don't want to die. Not having access to my own cards is frustrating too. There's one major reason behind my reluctance to regretting all of this, and it's the fact that I don't know what my own regret is. I still haven't sorted things out with Miharu, but it's entirely possible that we can both be eliminated while preoccupied with that. As afraid as I am of both the woman from last night and the guy from the first round, not to mention everyone else, I'm not about to go down without a fight. My first and foremost priority. I have 3 cards at the moment. If I'm going to do any digging, I need to start with the people that these belong to. Yes. I'll look up that Federico person after I finish collecting my 4s. As expected, no useful information. All I learn is that it's a common name in Italy. The other 2 cards provide me with a cause of death for numerial 4 and a regret for numerial 9. All I know about them is that they seem to be foreigners. Where am I even meant to start? After a big sigh, I'll set about my morning routine. There's always the possibility that the other participants don't know anything about me. Doesn't mean I can waste my time though. My own name card was a monstrous disputed at the beginning, which means it's only a matter of time until someone puts 2 and 2 together. One thing that has me curious about is numero 9's cause of death. Much like May, their card says they died in a fire. From what I recall, numero 9 is a boy from abroad. Of course, there's no guarantee that he could... No, numero 4, sorry. That he got caught up in the very same situation as me. Much like how there's no guarantee that I simply died from the fire itself. In fact, I still don't know how one broke out on the train in the first place. There are plenty of possibilities, from a simple accident to an intentional terrorist attack, but there's no way for me to find out when the act has been undone. In other words, all I've got going for me is my memory. Screw this. No point in forcing myself to try and remember, especially when there's a near 0 chance of a hint magically appearing to help me out. I'll make my way downstairs, have some bread, and then head to school. Phew, lunchtime at last. Did you bring your own? Well, we'll find out about if we made our own lunch in the next time, folks. So thank you so much for watching, and we shall see each other in the next time of Fatal 12, where things are still very hectic and our fate is probably on the line here. So have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves.